Back once more, this is Inside Politics here on KTN News. Many thanks for staying with us. President Uhuru Kenyatta did cancel the 22.2 billion shilling Kimwarer Dam project in the county of Elgeyo Marakwet following revelations that it was overpriced as well as technically and financially unrealistic. The president, however, gave the green light for the construction of the Aurora Dam project following investigations by a committee that probed the corruption-riddled dam project. A declaration by the president came as former Treasury CS Henry Rotich, former PS Kamau Thuge and other suspects returned to court of the multi-billion shilling project.
The roaring sound of Kimwarer River does not deter the angry residents living around the Kimwarer site from expressing their divergent views. The residents now want the president to retract his decision, saying the Technical Select Committee recommendation was done devoid of their input and the team relied on unfounded information to recommend the dam cancellation.
Hiyo kamati hatukuweza kuwaona hawa wakitutembelea. Kama walikuja bengine walichificha kwa msitu. Lakini kama walikuja sehemu kwingine hatukuwaona. They never shared the same story with the leadership of the area, hata wakazi wenye tulikuwa tunawangojea.
Sisi tulikuwa nadhania kwamba hii mradi itasaidia sisi kwa watoto ile wako nyumbani ile wamemaliza form 4. Sasa tunakuwa na stajabu sana. Sasa tunaambia rais naye atusaidie arudishe ikuje hii mradi iendelee kama kawaida.
The others are really going on. They should never sacrifice Kimwarer for the expense of other times to continue.
They claim the president was misled into stopping the dam construction that would have greatly improved their livelihoods.
Mtuambie ukweli. Hatuwezi kuendelea kudhulumiwa kwa muda mrefu. Tunaishi sehemu ambayo tunajua sehemu yetu ni sawa. Na kwa nini tunaambiwa ni gali? Nimesema kwamba ni forest, sehemu kubwa, si ni ya serikali. Hiyo ni uongo. Kuna watu wanapanga mpango mwingine duni ya kutudunisha. Vile ya Prosper imepotea, hii itapotea tena.
Itakuwa ni hasara sana kwa kwetu kama wakaji na kwa serikali kwa jumla, kwa sababu pesa already zimetumika. So itakuwa ni shida sana kama hii project haitafanywa.
Elgeyo Marakwet ward rep speaking to the media in Eaton Town termed the cancellation as a double tragedy.
We were shocked people are cheating you that water is flowing upwards requires to be pumped. While since you were born, this water has been flowing downwards by the force of gravity, Mr. President. We sincerely request that you have mercy on your people.
But Gatundu lawmaker Moses Kuria demanded the resignation of Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen as the leader of majority of the Senate, following his comments on the cancellation of the project. On Twitter, Murkomen had claimed that the cancellation of the dam project was part of a long-term design plan to terminate the project.
I'm asking you, Senator Murkomen, step aside. There are many people in the Senate whom we can give that privileged position. And I'm going to write to Rafael Tuju to convene a special parliamentary group meeting to discuss the utterances by Senator Murkomen and to pave the way for its removal.
The actual plan of the dam was to provide water to irrigate more than 10,000 acres of land, and over 100,000 households would have access to safe, clean drinking water, despite creating jobs and generating hydropower. Even as the Presidential Select Technical Committee indicated that the dam was overpriced, according to residents here, they now want President Uhuru Kenyatta to move with speed and intervene. Elvis Kosgei, KTN News, Kimwarer area, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
So the president cancelled the 22.2 billion shilling project. He also scaled down the Aurora Dam, which was to be constructed at a cost of 28.5 billion. It will now be downscaled to 60 meters and not 96 meters, and the cost will go down to 15.4 billion shillings. Residents of the county of Elgeyo Marakwet crying foul, asking the president to reconsider that decision. We understand the contractual issues in that cancellation, or the ramifications could be not only financial, but also in terms of relations between Kenya and Italy. We'll get into that. But before we get into that, of course, there was that immediate political reaction from this. This has been a major bone of contention inside the Jubilee Party itself, which is in government. And now they've gotten further to hit out at the president. The senator of the county of Elgeyo Marakwet coming out very strongly, saying this is, in fact, a long-term plan to cancel that project, saying that it is indeed discrimination. That he was supported by Kapseret MP, Oscar Sudi, and his Belgut counterpart in admonishing the president for doing that. Kipchumba is... does your namesake, Kipchumba Murkomen, does he have a point in saying that the government was wrong in
Ben,
cancelling
the reason why people
project?
wake up and go to vote is because of sharing of resources. And we elect leaders because we want somebody who can go at the national table and fight for something, for a better resource for us. Whereas it is understood that the Constitution has set out the minimum threshold of how resources should be shared, but we want a leader who can go lobby resources, do everything. That's why the role of an elected leader, those who do not hold executive roles, the senators, MCAs, members of the National Assembly, women reps, their role, one, representation, oversight and legislate. On this one, Murkomen is doing his bit. I understand the situation he finds himself. He's the majority leader. He needs to speak the majority business of Jubilee to the nation.
To be
but
going
now,
against everything the president does.
That is for him to answer. But now, as a representative of the people of Elgeyo Marakwet, who have been aggrieved, and he's a politician, he must come and tell his people he's responsible, by the way, not to President Uhuru Kenyatta, but he has responsibility to his bosses, who are the electorates of Elgeyo Marakwet. On another thing, that he raised an issue that I might have raised it in a different way, but I agree with him. The constitution of the technical committee and what the technical committee should do. When you constitute a technical committee, everybody, it is the basic thinking that one, they will visit Aror, there will be some stakeholder engagement. The people of Aror or Kimwarer are the stakeholders. They will also get time to talk to the governor, the elected leaders. After that,
Murkomen said it lacked national outlook.
Of course, when you elect people, when you select a committee of people who can discuss in their mother tongue, let us take away even if they are discussing Kimwarer or they are discussing a cotton company in Kisumu. If you take people there who will discuss in their mother tongue, and the problem will be translating now from their language to the English language, which standard reports must be, that there is a problem. The Constitution talks about anything that is done should reflect the face of the country. Because one, when you take these people there, there are other questions that rises, because people will start looking at them not as a technical committee, but as able people from one tribe. The other thing is this. There are two bodies that we need to ask where is their input in this technical committee. There is what we call the Public Procurement Review Board, the board that reviews all contracts. And then there is what we call the Public Procurement Oversight Authority. All these are the bodies now that are supposed to have been given this mandate to review these contracts, because within them we have the experts who knows that if we were to cancel a contract, this is how we'll do it. The same way when NASA had an issue with the contract that was awarded to Safran and Mofo, Otimofo, they went to the Public Procurement Review Board, and it was taken through there. Why? It is because the mechanism there, we have other things. But now the other thing we need to ask, as a lawyer, I'll ask this. Does the president have the powers to cancel a contract? I will be on the negative in answering that question, because the obligation this contract was given to the Ravenna can only be cancelled by two institutions, the Review Board and a court of law. For a simple reason that, one, by cancelling this contract, you have not invited CMD Ravenna to come and present to you.
Maybe the court case has reached a place.
The other thing also, Ben, we need to learn from history. We had Anglo-leasing. We took Anglo-leasing around, we finally paid them because this termination of this contract ought to have been treated in a manner that if we are to save Kimwarer, let's say we are not constructing Kimwarer, we must save Kenyans from losing more money because there is no wisdom. Tomorrow we have not constructed the dam, but if CMD Ravenna goes to arbitration in London, they win the money, we will lose both the money of the project, loss of value, and also the litigation amount. My way out of this is this. We need to just allow the institutions that have been mandated with the issues of procurement to run with them so that we do not go into the issues of blacklisting Kenya in terms of our credit worth. The other thing, my last point...
Wait. To be fair to this, the president has the... has the access to all these things you're saying. He has access to the board. He has access to the court case, nitty-gritties and details. Maybe he has a threshold for him to make that decision or for the government to make that decision. That is just something I'm putting out there. But away from the politics, let me ask you this, Hesbon. The court case continues, partly for inflating that loan sort, and that Italian firm, CMC di Ravenna, has been facing charges as well.
You cut me short on saying
Yes, because of time, we have to move on from that point. So from where you sit, away from the politics, is the government right to cancel this project if indeed it had been inflated?
I think...
is that the best way to deal with this?
I wouldn't say it's the best way. I mean, if it was indeed inflated, the first thing is the people responsible are supposed to be held culpable. And I think there's a court process that is going through that. And those people are supposed to bear the consequences of what they did. And then looking at the bigger picture, because this thing is both a political and a legal issue that touches on international relations. So it's a very dicey situation. And to disagree with my brother here a bit, I mean, I don't think the president is making a decision. The president is making a decision on the basis of a technical committee. So he's not just arbitrarily saying that we are cancelling this. But having gotten that report, and the report is giving a clear picture of how economically feasible it is, and how viable it is, and how it's going to help the people of Elgeyo Marakwet area. There's the element of us losing money if we cancel the whole project and not getting that project. There's the element of the people of Elgeyo Marakwet feeling disenfranchised and treated as less Kenyans. So if you put all these things into perspective, it takes me back to Aristotle, who talks about the golden mean in his virtue ethics. And the golden mean is very simple, that when there are two extremes, and one extreme is you cancel this, you lose a lot, and you get a population that feels disenfranchised. And then there is the other extreme. You go ahead with this, and then it is a project that is not economically feasible. So when Aristotle talks about the golden mean, he's talking about, can we get a middle ground? And I think that is where the president should situate himself, that to what extent can we find a way of not losing money and having a project that is technically and economically viable in Kimwarer. And I think it is in the domain of the president to actually find that middle ground. And for me, I would basically ask the president that it is within his powers to do what is right for all Kenyans and also not to disenfranchise the people of Elgeyo Marakwet.
Mark, this is a question, it's not a fact. Maybe Kenya will not lose billions of shillings. Maybe CMC di Ravenna is so implicated in that, in cancelling this, according to the contractual agreements, Kenya will not lose anything. Is it a possibility?
You know, let me tell Kenyans that whenever you hear kizungu mingi, legal mingi, you know you're being misled somewhere. Let's start here. If you come to your house and you find a thief midway robbing you, okay, and he's taken your TV and he's just about to take your cooker, will you tell him, you know, so that I can report this matter to the police, finish stealing everything and go away, then we can deal with it after? Will you stop him right then and there? So let's look at the facts. Let's see if this issue is an issue of catching a thief or not. Number one, there was no feasibility study. Number two, this company, di Ravenna, whatever it is, has been outlawed in a number of Commonwealth countries. Number three, it has declared itself bankrupt. Number four, it's been given 4 billion shillings and it has nothing to show for it other than some towels and pickups that people are using in Eldoret town. Okay? Number 5, this whole issue, this whole dam, when it is done, it is the only dam in the world where we are proposing pumping water into a dam. With what electricity and what money, we know not. But we are arguing here, sane people, that we should continue with the project so that we don't hurt the feelings of people in Kimwarer. Let's continue. The rest of Kenyans are also taxpayers. Kimwarer Dam is not an Elgeyo Marakwet issue. It is a Kenyan issue because it is the Kenyan taxpayer who is paying for it. If that project fails, it affects me just as much as it affects the people of Kimwarer. Let's not play around and think that we are localized when you're spending 27 billion shillings. It is not a localized issue. It is a national issue. Secondly, your tribe does not make you competent in technical matters. How does living in Kimwarer make you a professional on whether a dam will work or not? How is inclusivity needed in a technical report? If a Luo was in that committee, will the mathematics come out different? Is 1 + 1 different in Kalenjin and different in Kikuyu land? Are we serious as a country that now if we are going to sit an engineering exam, okay, and engineers do mathematics and economics do mathematics, then we must check their name. It is Dismas Mokua, this is Kisi Engineering. It is Hesbon Hansen, so this is Luo Engineering. Come on, where are we as a country? Are those figures and facts in that paper changing? Because it is a technical committee. It is not an emotional committee. It is not a committee of the feelings of people and what they want. Mathematics is mathematics. The fact portends that if we continue down this project, we know very well that it has been exaggerated as a cost. It is a fact. We know very well that you will need to pump water into it. It is a fact. We know very well that this company is bankrupt. We know all these facts. Then we want to discuss and say that let us lie to the people of Kimwarer so that they'll have a dam without water, just like the other dam that is a rubbish heap somewhere near Nairobi. So let's not lie to people. Let's not lie to Kenyans, okay? If a project is not viable, it has nothing to do with the people of Kimwarer. Right. What grudge, pray tell me, does Uhuru have against the people of Kimwarer?
We cannot allow
what Mark is saying is for populism, cheapening the whole conversation.
Actually, we cannot. Let me answer it. Let me answer.
And tell me what I've said that is not factual.
Everything you have said is populist and it puts a lot of other credentials into risk. This is the first point. One, we have an article in the Constitution that talks about having regional and ethical balance in everything, because
including a technical committee.
Yes, in everything, because those people are eating taxpayers' money. Those taxpayers are not from one ethnic community. Two,
so what do you want? Every technical committee should have.
But if it is Kenyan,
so it is affecting all Kenyans. Right. Why do you want 42 tribes, 44?
Let me say something, Mark. When we are interpreting the law, there is what we call the golden rule, the literal rule.
Okay, is he wrong because of time?
He's wrong on two
phases. Is he wrong by saying that the issue of Kimwarer Dam is not only a Kimwarer or
yes, it is not only a Kimwarer issue because it even affects our indexing in how we borrow loans.
So he's right.
The issue is, he's just making a populist argument.
What populist argument?
The thing is this, Ben. The thing is this. One, when you discuss an issue about Kimwarer, one, we are not saying the president was wrong in cancelling. Some of us are questioning the process. For him cancelling or not, he sits in a position where he has most of these facts. For him to cancel or not, but what we are saying is the due process. Two, clothe the technical committee with some faces so that when people in Kimwarer see,
and they see what at Mark least has a problem.
Yes, because at the end of it, the people in Kimwarer
that's absolutely.
That's why we have a cabinet. Okay, that's why we have a cabinet with all these tribes.
Let's listen to Dismas on this.
Okay, now let's go to the next level and ask ourselves, how come these kind of projects happen without the benefit of the National Assembly? Because believe you me, members of the National Assembly and Senate do not know oversight, or rather they don't know anything about this project. They've got no oversight over this project, and yet the people will be requested to allocate resources to pay these loans. So that's the first question we need to ask ourselves. There are members of the National Assembly who are supposed to offer oversight. They are seated somewhere in a forest. They don't know what is happening. That's number one. Then number two, how many more projects like Kimwarer do we have? from the time Jubilee took office that we can now count? How many more do we have that are special purpose vehicles whose intention maybe is only to get money from the taxpayer resources and use for personal initiatives? Then the third question, these are technical reports put together by technical persons. Would the outcome be different if there was a Kisii engineer or a Kalenjin engineer or a Maasai engineer? Would the outcome be different? And he's indicated, is 1 + 1 universal, depending on the base you use or depending on the tribalism approach? And then the other thing, when the president says he's cancelling, it doesn't mean that he has actually taken the contract and cancelled. He's given a signal, he's given his intention, and the people within the state law office or the relevant officers then will ensure that the due process has been done. But the elephant in the room, Ben, is how many of these projects do we have going to areas because of simply political considerations? Can we comfortably sit here and say that when you look at if there were resources to put up a dam, that Elgeyo Marakwet was the principal and the needy cause? Why not Kisii or West Pokot or elsewhere? Do we have a national policy that we use to allocate resources for these mega projects? Do we have a national policy we use when you are coming up with roads? Or must you be on the good side of the deputy president or the president to have a road coming to your side? Now, this boils to this funny philosophy going around town, that vote for me so that when I'm in government, you get projects coming to your part of the world. You know, this confirms that amorphous philosophy. Projects should be going to regions simply because regions merit them. You shouldn't be told that vote for me so that when I'm in government, I'll give you a road. I see some of my friends who are the members of the National Assembly struggling to get audience either at the presidency or with the cabinet secretaries so that they can have a tarmac. If you are said to be maybe now these are Jubilee in opposition, government, whatever, if you're seen to be on a particular side and the CS doesn't like you, believe you me, you're not going to have that road. So as a nation, we should use this Kimwarer and ask ourselves those relevant questions. But it's really a tragedy that the people with the primary responsibility of oversight, members of the National Assembly, watch breaking news about Kimwarer and the road dams, just like mere mortals who are Kenyans.
But Ben, let's talk about this technical committee. One of the people in that technical committee is a PS, correct? This PS was selected within regional balance, okay? Now, let me ask a question. And there are technical committees that sit in this country concerning everything, correct? Now, in the Ministry of Agriculture or mining or whatever, you want to tell me that every time we must constitute a technical committee to decide where a road is, we must then consult every tribe. So every technical committee in this country should have 44 tribes. Now, let me just finish what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. I
won't respond to that.
No, see, can I finish?
Yeah. Okay,
then respond.
Finish.
Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear,
yes.
Okay? And this must has put it very well. We must understand that Kimwarer is not a tribal dam. It is not. It is a national dam. That dam, if it was viable, it would affect water supply for regions far beyond Kimwarer. Even in Egypt. Therefore, it is erroneous to say that simply because a technical committee which sat down to do basic things, engineering and mathematics. I do not understand how me as a lawyer would be looking at that thing and saying, where is the Bukusu mathematician? Why would I do that?
Okay, Ben,
that's a very clear question.
Allow me just a second, yeah? Maybe the president should make public that report so that we have the benefit of the peers to these technical committee members to see whether the mathematics was done from a central Kenya angle or whether now if you've got a peer from
so
Kimwarer,
we obviously don't have the details, but Hesbon, what you and Kipchumba Murkomen are indicting is a process.
You see, I don't have a problem with the constitution of the technical committee because if you didn't have a problem when it was constituted, you cannot have a problem when it is giving its finding. But I think I don't need to respond to the way Mark is cheapening the whole conversation, that mathematics by a Luo is the same as mathematics by a Kikuyu. The issue is it is just cheap. I mean, Kenyans already know that there's no difference in that math. But it is in our constitution that calls for a national representation, and we cannot run away from that. So if someone is pointing at that, then they are standing within a constitutional framework which is valid. But my issue is, no one says that this thing was going to benefit the people of Aror and Kimwarer only. This is a Kenyan project.
Well, the politicians are saying that.
And you see, and when politicians are saying that, that is the perception we are trying to correct here, that this is not a Kimwarer or an Elgeyo Marakwet project.
Which is my argument. I'm just still saying I'm cheaper.
No. Let me just finish. What you're trying to say is that if this thing is taken away, they should not complain, which is okay.
Just a
but
simple thing,
Kenyans
Ben.
are going to lose if it is
We
a
have to-
Kenyan. If it is a Kenyan project,
when we were discussing Rio Valley,
when I said we need a middle ground, I did not say that we go the extreme cases of building this thing or losing that money. But we just have to
hold
find a
that
way.
thought. Let's leave it there. We'll come back to wind it up. It means it is a very